Despite its size and heft at 77 pounds, it's one of the heavier bikes in its class. It doesn't seem particularly enormous or scary when you get on. It doesn't have the increasingly popular step-through frame, but it has a low enough profile and a low enough seat height to make getting on and off it simple. According to Heybike, riders between the heights of 5 feet 3 inches and 6 feet 3 inches are ideal. Heybike has added a number of luxurious features, such as front and rear LED lighting, a deafening front horn, strong hydraulic disc brakes, and even a built-in rear rack, in addition to its attractive design, which incorporates just the appropriate amount of swoops and curves without losing its overall rough edge. The bike's unusually wide frame, which contributes significantly to its additional weight and gives it an almost miniature Grom-like motorbike appearance, also makes it difficult to fold or carry around. Speaking of folding, the Heybike's lock-in mechanism are well made but also deceptively subtle, making it difficult to see right away that the bike practically splits in half. The battery release technique, however, is one of the biggest drawbacks. We didn't like Heybike's decision to run the internal wiring through the Tyson's frame. The wires aren't fastened to the bottom of the groove they are supposed to be housed in, which results in them being regularly loose enough to rise out of their groove and becoming a major annoyance when we attempted to replace the battery. This omission did create a persistent impression that we weren't anticipating from a bike that was otherwise extremely well designed, even if the remedy may be as simple as using some electrical tape or even a precisely cut wedge that we placed afterwards. If you choose the Tyson, it may be presumed that you'll eventually want to benefit from its reduced folding footprint. The Tyson can balance upright when folded, thanks to a little leg below. Even though it's a little feature, forgetting about it makes storing bikes like the Cycrown Cycnite considerably more challenging. Despite how simple it is to fold the bike, carrying it still poses a challenge and probably calls for additional assistance. You can fast accelerate even from a dead stop, thanks to the 750 watts brushless motor's strong and apparently limitless smooth acceleration. As a Class 3 bike, you can reach a peak speed of 28 miles per hour on flat roads, which is usually sufficient to keep up with most small-town traffic. Interesting enough, the Tyson's frame label claims that it is merely a Class 2 bike with a lesser maximum payload of only 330 pounds. You may adjust your bike's power settings and even set its peak speed using its app. The default settings seem to be enough. However, we did note that there wasn't much of a difference between power modes 4 and 5. You can sustain slower speeds with only a little more assistance in mode 1 since it is mild enough. Nevertheless, 5 can be absurd at times and basically removes any resistance from your pedaling. The motor does suffer from a little delay in responding from the cadence sensor and can occasionally feel jerky, which is another point where we feel Heybike had to come up with some compromises to keep costs relatively low. Nevertheless, the motor is very torquey and has sufficient power to carry the weight of you and this big bike. When compared to the Tyson, which has strong acceleration, the Vanpower's Urban Glide feels much more smooth and relaxing because to its mid-drive engine. You may loosen its suspension to absorb all the rocks, roots, drops, and curbs you'll find, making it wonderful for trails and rough pathways but not great for riding on the streets. Another area that earns great honors is the cockpit. The TFT4G display, which is prominently featured, is clear and colorful and displays all of your vital information, such as your speed, battery life, current time, and distance traveled. You can also access the settings menu to make more adjustments and link the device with your phone. The right side is where you'd expect to find the throttle and gears. The throttle is operated via a push-down thumb lever that seems to respond to pressure smoothly. There is a hidden button beneath that. When it gets dark, the system will automatically switch on and off the front and back lights for you. The buttons to switch on and off the lights are on the far left. A powerful electronic horn is located farther down, and below them are the exceedingly well-placed and accessible turn signals. Again, this horn makes every other regular bike bell seem and sound like a toy if you ride on the street even a little bit. We're not kidding when we tell that this horn will attract attention. Overall, it seems like the Tyson's controls were genuinely tested and modified to ensure they were usable and increased safety, as opposed to simply being thrown at you in a way that feels like an afterthought. We've been expecting to see this on bikes for a long time, and we strongly feel that e-bikes should be mandated by law to have it. It's a fairly simple feature that has done a lot to make a good impression on us. especially when combined with its strategically placed indicator switch and on-screen alerts letting you know when they're active. Even while it has no effect on the bike's actual performance, it's yet another excellent illustration of how well-rounded Tyson really is. We felt more confident when riding in city traffic, particularly at night. You can log your rides, modify the power mode settings, switch the bike on or off, unlock it, and even set the proximity alert from the app. Its anti-theft capabilities were the only item that didn't operate without a hitch, which didn't appear to be particularly accurate or useful. For instance, even if the bike was perfectly still, we would get false positives that it had been moved. Similarly, the bike would sound its alarm as if it were being stolen even though we had our phone with us. As a result, we have turned off these functions and would only use a traditional lock to secure the bike. The Tyson employs a 48-volt 15 amp-hours ULT2271 certified battery, which has extra electrical and fire safety regulations, something that has become more required in areas like New York in light of all the headlines concerning e-bike and scooter battery fires. With pedal assistance, you can anticipate a real-world range of 45 to 55 miles, while in throttle-only mode, you can go a reasonable 40 to 50 miles before having to recharge. The Tyson, like many other e-bikes, still has trouble displaying your battery percentage consistently, which can occasionally have the effect of making you feel anxious about your range, especially when your battery levels unexpectedly drop from 80% to 40% in a matter of seconds due to accelerating quickly or climbing a steep hill. Like other bikes with this problem, you gradually grow accustomed to it and recognize that levels will balance out after you've resumed normal riding after a short while. You'll value its speedier 48-volt 4 amp-hours charger when your battery is low, since it can charge it from 0% to 100% in around 4 hours. So guys, this was our complete review of Heybike Tyson. We hope you liked the video, and if you did, please don't forget to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.